everybody. Welcome to episode 32 of the News Just News weekly roundup. Once again, I am joined by Adam. Hello, Adam.
Hello.
And welcome back, Hannah. Hello.
Hi, guys. It's great to be back. I missed you all.
I am today's host. So my name is Lucia, and today we're going to be talking about a lot of different topics. We've got music, we've got films, and we got some gaming news as well. As usual, you can read about all of the articles that we're talking about today and many, many more on our website, newsjustnews.com. So make sure to head there and read all of the articles that you want. So we are starting with, massive, huge event that's going to take place very, very soon. And that would be Taylor Swift getting married. So Anna, would you tell us about it?
Yes, guys, it's a royal wedding. No, I'm joking. But to me, it is. I've got my Taylor Swift poster in the back here, even. She's watching over me. This is very exciting. It's finally happening. There was a lot of speculation about whether, this was a little distraction or anything about the wedding happening over this weekend. Well, actually, technically starting today at 6 p.m. This is the rehearsal dinner. But yes, it will be hosted in Madison Square Garden. And I was quite shocked by that because usually with the date that this coincides with, July 4th, that is Taylor Swift's one of her favorite holidays. And she is famous for hosting her July 4th parties in her Long Island house. So yeah, I kind of was assuming maybe the wedding would be in Long Island, but it makes sense to have it at Madison Square Garden, considering the amount of security that is going to be needed. So I'll get into that now, but we can cover the basics of what's happening. So Madison Square Garden is booked from today till July 4th, and there's no events that align with that, so it's a really helpful time. And we've seen, I don't know if you guys have seen the footage of people installing stuff and getting ready. It's all very hush but from what we've seen so far, it's a lot of botanicals, and apparently there's a little mini castle being built in there. I think it's going to be incredible. Sorry, okay, I know I can't get too excited. But yes, she's also, okay, I say she as in Taylor Swift. It's also Travis Kelce, but I mean, come on, this is Taylor Swift's wedding. This is the one who wrote Love Story, guys. It is her time, and I think this is going to be one of the biggest events, pop culture events of the year, and it could go really well, or could also, backfire in terms of the fans, because the fans can be a bit crazy sometimes. But that is why Madison Square Garden is a great venue. It's completely blocked off. Paparazzi can't access it. Helicopters can't look at it. She's also blocked off the two streets that surround Madison Square Garden, which is West 31st and 33rd. So those are all blocked off. We've got over 100 police officers that are guarding the venue. And yeah, it's very, very secret, including with the guests. So over 1,000 guests have been invited. So the wedding will be officially on July 3rd. And they all had to sign NDAs. The invitations were very ambiguous. I think they probably only got information about where the venue is, how to get in, probably yesterday or today. And on every invite there is a little watermark with their name, just in case somebody shares it and it goes online, then they can track it back to who shared it. So yes, very security conscious. So we don't know much. I do respect the security and privacy that has gone into it, especially considering the past moments that have happened. For example, a producer that Taylor works with a lot, Jack Antonoff, he got married to Margaret Qualley, and that wedding Taylor Swift attended, obviously, and it was in a fairly unknown place. Like, and fans somehow found out the streets were flooded, which completely disrupted the wedding. And I think after that, Taylor realized that, yeah, we're going to have to control the whole paparazzi and fan situation here. So I'm hoping that we get photos at least. I'm not expecting her to live stream her wedding. I mean, come on, it's a private, but like, fine. I didn't get invited. It's okay. It's fine, guys, whatever. But we will see how it goes. We've got some expected and confirmed guests, such as Selena Gomez, Ed Sheeran, Gigi Hadid, Zoe Kravitz, Emma Stone, Gracie Abrams, of course, Jack Antonoff. So we'll see how it goes. We've seen Travis running around in New York. We saw paparazzi photos of that. We've seen a lot of the guests like Gigi Hadid and everyone arriving in New York. So it is confirmed. The police did confirm it too. Under they wrote down like a like a police permit thing that says Taylor Swift's wedding at Madison Square Garden. So it is confirmed. This was all yesterday. So like today is gonna be huge, guys. It's gonna be huge. And tomorrow, I'm very excited. But yeah, that is all we know at the moment about the wedding, and there is more to come.
First of all, I'm thinking about the budget of this event. And also about the fact that just hearing you talking about it has got me stressed, and I've got nothing to do with it. It's
I'm very stressed for her.
Honestly, like it's such a massive event, and obviously with all of the people and the fact that they're doing it in such a incredible, massive venue as well. And I actually wanted to ask you this as a fan, obviously someone who has followed her over the years. Would you have expected for her to do it, in this way, or to have that kind of wedding, which is kind of like private, but at the same time, in such a massive venue and, like such a big wedding as well? Like, would you have expected for it to be that way or not?
Not in the slightest. So I can go into a big deep dive about this, but I'll try to be very brief. When Taylor was with Joe Alwyn, we thought they were like going to get married, the whole Endgame song, their relationship was very private. Whereas with Travis and Taylor, it's a lot more public. And, maybe that's a good thing as well, because she's proud of it. A big part of her and Joe Alwyn's relationship was that he didn't want anything being shared. But, that was like a big, all those rumors and everything. But, however, I don't know. I just feel like Madison Square Garden is, to me, it feels a bit kitsch. But it makes sense considering all the circumstances we've been talking about. I have a feeling that they're already married, and this is the like big celebration and everything. Taylor was on the Graham Norton show a few months ago, and she said, "No, I'm inviting everyone. It's going to be a huge wedding type of thing." So obviously, it's something she wants. But I have a feeling, and this is not me confirming anything, it's just me conspiracy theory. I think they had probably a smaller, more intimate wedding to like legally do it, and this is the celebration. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that would make sense, and it would kind of like more aligned to maybe like her own personality, and this is more kind of like a compromise with kind of like the connection between her and her fiance, soon to be husband, and also with how important and figures they both are at this point. So thank you, Anna, for this deep dive. We are staying in the music department, but we are talking about someone who's at their wedding, actually, the marriage actually falling and, getting divorced. And now we are talking about Lily Allen. So she's a very famous British singer and songwriter. And just this week, she was basically criticized for the latest shows that she's been touring around in the UK. So she's currently touring with the West End Girl Tour. She started off in Glasgow just a couple months ago, and just a few nights ago, she did a very big show in London. And after this show, basically, she was criticized because she only stayed on stage for about 50 minutes, less than an hour. She had little to no interaction to the crowd, and the tickets were said to be quite expensive. So specifically, there was one tweet that she reposted and she replied to that mentioned that their ticket was £86 for less than an hour, which is obviously quite a bit of money. And because of this, she was, kind of like, criticized, and people were saying maybe we shouldn't be paying this much money. We shouldn't, attend a concert where the person on the stage doesn't even kind of like show any sign of recognition to the crowd. And Lily actually replied to that tweet, and she explained that this is kind of like the vision that she had for the show, because the whole show has always been promoted as her basically just doing the whole set as the album. So she only performing the album, no back catalog from the beginning to the end. And for that reason, because she wanted the performance to be kind of like a Broadway / West End kind of like production, she does not speak to the audience because it's part of the performance. It's almost as if she's playing a character. And in this sense, it would be basically a heartbroken woman after her divorce from her husband. And we do know that the album was inspired by her marriage and, the ending of her marriage with Stranger Things actor David Harbour. So we do know that she has a whole vision behind this set and specifically this kind of show. And for that reason, she said, I don't want anyone to feel ripped off. I know it's, tickets are expensive, but people are putting all of the effort that they can into this project, into this store. And I would like, just for people to enjoy the show without being criticized, without being criticized from her side. And this has kind of like sparked a bit of a discourse online with people defending her, people just saying that it was a bit too much. So I feel like it depends on really, if you're a fan or if you've been to this kind of show before. And yeah, it's a bit of a controversial one, let's just say. Adam, are you a fan of Lily Allen? Have you ever been to any of her concerts?
So I've never been to any of her concerts. I nearly went to like a festival this year where she was in, but I didn't in the end. And I do feel like with the nostalgia value, I'd kind of call myself a fan of her, like her older stuff, The Fair, Trigger Bang or London, all of those things. I love it when artists sing with a British accent. So I definitely love that. But I think even in seeing, the promotion for this show, she was very clear. It's literally called Performs West End Girl. So I kind of don't understand why people weren't going in expecting that, because when most artists do it, they'll be like, okay, this is my album tour, and yeah, they'll have a couple of the older big hits, but I feel like this was very specifically marketed. I mean, it was called West End Girl, which there is that thing, if she's performing it, it's going to be the whole thing. I do think 50 minutes and like nothing, not even like a cursory chat at the end is like probably there could have been more, I do think on that sense. And obviously ticket prices just are crazy for concerts nowadays anyway, but I think people should have known what they were going into and before they bought tickets, really.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I also appreciate the vision, as in like I feel like artists have a right, and it's also good for an artist to kind of like evolve and have different eras in their career. And I feel like if this is an artistic choice that she's chosen to do, she wouldn't be the first one to do it. I remember, for example, a few years ago, Gorillaz did something similar. So they only like did a show, and it was like the whole album just from the beginning till the end. Blur did the same thing. And I feel like, if it's rightly marketed, which it was in this case, then, like you said, fans just know that they're going to see that, and they wouldn't expect to, have her sing London or anything like that. So I feel like it was a bold artistic choice, and at the same time, 50 minutes, it is very short, but at the same time, yes, it's what it was promoted as. So I understand. We're seeing with you, Adam, because now we're talking about gaming a little bit and a new console that's just been launched. Would you tell us about it?
Yeah, well, it's kind of an interesting one. I mean, there's obviously AI. We talk about it all the bloody time on this podcast, just because it is everywhere. It is changing our world and it is changing. Even if you don't use it, it is affecting things, and it is affecting, this new console. So Valve, so on Monday the 29th, they started the pre-release of the console, and like that is just how backed up things are. So the Steam machine is so Steam is like the biggest. It is like the super giant of PC gaming. Like it accounts for basically everything, and so they've released their own hardware, which is like this cube, and it's like a hybrid between a console, but it's also a PC. So it'll like fit in your living room, it'll connect to your TV, and you can play PC games in the same way that you would play console games. And so Steam have promised that you can play all of your PC games that you'd usually play on like your desktop or your laptop, even like the AAA titles. So probably GTA 6 whenever that comes out. But it's got more benefits. So because it's a PC, it's like a lot more customizable. You can like change the parts within it. You can change like software on it, which obviously appeals to like PC gamers as well. And it's, instead of people just building their own parts, like my gaming computer, I built it myself, but that was like 10 years ago. I do not want to go through that path again. So this does really appeal, where it's just like, it's there, you just plug it in, and it's designed for gaming as a computer. So it's like easy peasy. But then obviously, as I was saying with AI, this has really impacted it. So when it was announced in like November last year, people were saying, oh, it's going to be between $700 and $800, so like 500 to 600 pounds. But now, just because AI is just eating up all of the components, it's over $1,000, which is a lot of money when you compare to like, PlayStation prices, Xbox prices. That is a whole lot more. And so there is this risk that people aren't going to want to spend $1,000 on this, when they could probably just get their own computer for that price as well. But then people have actually calculated it, and it basically does cost what they are pricing it. It's not as if they're making this crazy profit. It's just AI is just causing price increases. Like we saw Apple increase their prices a few weeks ago, everything apart from the iPhone, and then like the Xbox is getting more expensive as well, even though that's already been out. So yeah, it's just crazy. And because of all of this, they've had this like lottery system. So to stop people reselling and like scalping and like raising the prices even higher, they've done this lottery system. So you'd register with your Steam account if you'd already purchased something, so you're like a real person. And then like not even like pre-registering, then it would be a lottery, and they would send you an email. And after you'd got the email, you would have 72 hours to pre-purchase this console. And then if you didn't buy it within 72 hours, it like your chance would just go on to someone else. Like it's but then somehow people have already found loopholes. You can like you can buy like someone else's pre-order on eBay for like double the price. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. But yeah, I mean, I would like one, but like, am I going to pay that much? Probably not.
I mean, I feel like, staying on consoles, I feel like we are kind of like entering a new era. I don't know if you've seen about the PlayStation, they've announced that from 2028, they're all going digital. And I think that's absolutely insane. I don't know what you think about it, but it's mainly because like, loads of people rely on having like the actual physical copies of their games, and it's such a massive loss. I'm obviously like a big fan of physical media, so that obviously counts as that. But just the idea that you won't be able to own a game, anything anymore, and it's just part of this whole new like thing and whole new era that we're entering. And obviously, AI is having like a huge influence on it. What's your take on that? Like, what do you think about the PlayStation change as well?
I think gamers have always, for a long time, sort of opposed online stuff. There was like DRM, so back like 2010s, there was a whole thing of games. You had to be online to connect to games, and they would be on servers and stuff. So obviously, if your internet was down or if the server was glitched, you just couldn't play a game that you had already bought. And then this is just an evolution of that. And it's like anything can happen. There's so many. I think there was even, I think it was last week or a few weeks ago, there was people challenging the EU, sort of like to protect gamers who had bought games, but then the software company was sort of revoking those, so they were taking away the servers, and then people would just never have the ability to play these again, even though they paid for them. So I think we are, especially with this, when there's no physical media, there's just like no way. You have to have an account. Your account, it could be banned. There's so many things, and I think it is like kind of dangerous territory where you really don't own anything, and even if you're renting it, I know as Nintendo have said for a lot of things, it can just be taken away within like what if it was taken away within like 1 or 2 years, whereas previously you could be playing it and happily playing it for like 5-10 years.
Yeah, it's very dark time. I don't know. I feel like for gamers specifically, it's a very dark time. But we are staying on dark times. Because we are talking about a movie that should have not have seen the light of day ever, and that is a movie called Citizen Vigilante. People have been talking about it this week because it has been promoted on X by Elon Musk. He has posted the link for about 48 hours between Thursday night and Sunday morning, basically. And people were able to download and see the movie. This is a movie that was directed and created by a German director called Uwe Boll, and it's called Citizen Vigilante, and it's a basically anti-immigrant movie. And this is not clearly something new from Elon Musk. Like, we know that he supported far-right views in the past, and people who spoke about anti-immigrant policies. So it's not something that comes as a surprise. However, the movie was originally kind of like banned in Germany because it was denied an age certification, and it was considered to be as a movie that was promoting anti-immigrant policies, and therefore it was not given like a permission to open it to wide distribution. And it was kind of like destined to just stay where it was. And then, Musk just like promoted it. And then it had an explosion of interactions, and people from all over the world had an access to it. And suddenly, it got the wide distribution that it was previously kind of like denied. And this is, again, dark. And also, it is also dark and controversial because the actor who plays the main character in the movie is Armie, and that is also something that surprised me quite a bit when I saw it, because the last time I checked, it was in the Cayman Islands, like just being a manager for an apartment complex or whatever. So he wasn't really acting or anything. I know that he had a podcast in which he was discussing his personal life, and that also got controversial when it came out, because people were there like, why is he discussing this stuff? Why is he getting so candid about his life? He obviously, loads of people remember what happened back in 2021. He stepped away from Hollywood because he was accused by many of his previous girlfriends of rape and abuse allegations. So obviously it was a serious matter. And for the longest time, he's just been away. And now it seems like he's slightly like trying to make his comeback in Hollywood. And he did it in the worst way possible. He just chose like the worst movie he could have ever done it. And it's a shame, really, because he was a really good actor. And I remember, back in 2017, 2018, when he was acting in Call Me By Your Name, obviously the movie that launched Timothée Chalamet's career. It was a completely different situation, and he was really good in that. And it's really a shame that we're now seeing him in this kind of role. I'm assuming that none of you guys are gonna watch this movie. I'm not gonna, but yeah, it's a bit of a shame, and I don't know. It's just, did you know about this, you guys? Have you heard anything about it?
Yeah, I've seen a bit about it. And with Elon Musk promoting it, I specifically think in the times we are living in right now, with ice and just general, and even here in South Africa, there's major xenophobia going on at the moment. It's just we don't need this right now. We don't need it. And the same goes with the actor Hammer. What's his first name? I forget.
Armie Hammer, yeah.
Yeah. He can stay in that movie. He doesn't need to return. He can stay there. That's your last project. Goodbye. I won't be supporting you further, especially after 2021. And now you're choosing to do something like this. That just kind of shows your true colors. So you can stay on your little podcast and talk about the things you struggle with. So it's a passionate topic for me. But yeah, will not be watching it. Not interested in the slightest. And yeah, before I say anything too vulgar, I'm just going to stop right there.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for today's episode. As usual, you can go on our website, News Just News, and you can read all of the stories from today and many, many more. And thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
See you next week. Bye.